They say Dyneema doesn't absorb water, but this tent has been through a few hundred miles, lots of rainstorms, thunder, and hail, as well as a lot of messy spills on the trail. So let's find out if it still holds up. Dyneema is supposed to be extremely waterproof and extremely tough, and one of the best materials on the market. And so today, that's why I'm putting it to the test against a sil poly trekking pole tent as well, to see which one can withstand water, retain water, or not. The purpose of this video is to help someone that might not know whether they should buy a sil poly tent or a Dyneema tent. So please lock in, let's load it out. Now I know I'm in my backyard and I can't say that today is the day it's gonna rain because it's a perfect blue sky today. So what I'm planning on doing is the spray test with my hose. I'm gonna put it on all the craziest settings, just beat the absolute shit out of the tents with the rain from the hose. And then I'm going to be doing what I call the bear can test, which I'm going to fully submerge both of these tents in water. I have the Durston X-Mid Pro and the Gossamer, the one tent, for about 30 seconds each, and then pull them out to see which one weighs less or weighs more, compare and see which one retained water or which one did not retain water. I have used both of these tents for lots of trips, lots of miles. They've been in severe weather storms and they held up great, but the real thing that we are seeing today is if Dyneema is as water resistant as possible and the best choice for you on the market, or if you should stick with a sil poly tent. We're gonna start with the shower setting because it's a nice, real representation of a good rainstorm. Gotta turn it up. As I was saying, we're gonna start with the shower setting to simulate a real good rainstorm. ASMR. Really got to get the seams, which there isn't really many on here. Okay, Durston had a good shower. Time to meet Gossamer and see how it holds up. Dyneema, sil poly. Put your comment below as to which one will weigh more in the end. As I'm putting these away, I'm simulating it just as I would on the trail, because we do a lot of moving. We don't sit around and wait when we go on our trips. So some couple shakes and then stuff. And if it's soaking wet like this, we will have a time in the day when the weather breaks where we will actually sit out and do a yard sale, let the gear dry. But I'm trying to make this as realistic as possible. You know, obviously these single wall tents, you bring a little towel with you, wipe it down on the inside and outside. But for the sake of this video, we're not going to be doing that, just to see which one absorbs more water. Okay, so we're going to do the one first. The one shelter weighed slightly more in the beginning, so right now the scale is zeroed out. We're going to wrap it around, clip it on, still 0. It says 1.4 pounds. I don't know if you can see it, but it says 1.4 pounds for the one with a quick shower. We're gonna reset the scale. It's back at 0. We got the X-Mid Pro here. Whoa, this says 1.8 pounds. Interesting. This was much lighter in the beginning. So we'll now go to the next step of our experiment, which is the bear can test. Okay, so as you noticed, the Dyneema shelter, which is lighter prior to any water on it, absorbed almost double the weight, but I don't know if it technically absorbed it or not. I do know that on my trips when I'm using this or my Hyperlight tarp that's made of Dyneema, if I don't wipe the water off, I don't know if it absorbs, but it just holds water like nobody's business, and it'll double the weight really fast. So now we're gonna see how it holds up in the water test in the bear can. Obviously, nobody's putting their tents in a bear can full of water. That's just not something we do, or anybody that I know does. If you do, I'm sorry, that's silly. I think this test, like I said, it's more or less just seeing which tent retains more water. Granted, these tents will keep the bags on them when they go in the water, so there could be more water just sitting in the bag. So what I'm going to do actually is take them out of the bags again, put them fully submerged in here, and then pull them out. I'm gonna leave them in there for a few seconds each, just to see really how well they do in the water and see how they absorb or not. Oops. Gonna have to dump some of it out. Make a mess. This is very messy, but the plus side of doing this for me is that my tents are getting a nice bath, so they're gonna be drying for a long time after this. Let's get it out. And I'm just gonna hold it up for a minute and let the water all run off of it that could be in here. Because like I said, this is purely for absorption purposes. This isn't a waterproof video. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. It's to see which one retains more water. So now I have it like this. I'm gonna try to mush it back in just to see. Should compact much nicer now that it's soaked. I feel like it can just go in there. These tents never really have too big of an issue stuffing. Here it is, Gossamer the One, soaked. I don't know if you noticed in the beginning, but I believe when I emptied the water out, it was around the first or second line of the bear can. Now it's all the way at the bottom. So I'm gonna try and refill it up to about here again, which I think is where it was. And then I'm going to see how much water comes out of the bear can. If it absorbed that much water, that's fucking crazy. So we'll see how the Dyneema does. I feel like people are just rolling over. All right. I know people are probably at home right now looking at me saying, look at this fucking idiot putting his expensive tents in a bear can full of water. But sometimes you gotta do it. And it's oddly satisfying to mush your tent in a bunch of water. Gotta be careful not to grab it on the edge of the bear can. Couple shakes just like we did. I hope to God I didn't just tear a hole in my X-Mid on the edge of the bear can. But we'll find out. This feels heavy. This feels very heavy. Feels very heavy. So now we're gonna see which weighs more. Scale is on 0 pounds. This is so wild. This one is 3 pounds flat. Okay. I think that the Gossamer might win this one. This X-Mid feels stupid heavy, but I could be wrong. Okay, zeroed out again. £3.5 pounds. Is it worth it? I will say I'm pretty shocked with this because I love my Dyneema tent. I know that condensation is an issue for any single wall trekking pole tent, so this isn't a representation of condensation buildup in a tent, just pure water absorption and which holds more water. And this started at 1.3 pounds for the Gossamer tent, and the X-Mid started at 1 pound flat. And in the end, I believe this was 3 pounds for the one, and this was about 3.5 pounds for the Pro. So the Sil Poly seemed to absorb less water than the Dyneema X-Mid Pro. Which is, like I said, I'm kind of like shocked. I really thought it was going to be the other way around. I'm a big Dyneema guy now. At the end of the day, I use a lot of Dyneema gear, but for the cost, if you're someone that's looking for a tent, you know, I think this is my favorite tent of all time still, the X-Mid Pro. The one by Gossamer Gear is much more affordable. If you don't have $600 to $700 to spend on a tent, this costs, I believe, $250 versus, you know, tons of other options. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, Dyneema did not win today with water absorption. So that's that. And thank you guys for tuning in. I will be doing a lot more experiments like this, so please comment down below if you have any ideas of videos you would like me to do. Thanks. See you next time.